They decided to unite against unfair treatment, who said we can't raise our voices together. So they picked a brave representative, ready to take in the corporate big shots the next morning. She was a community superwife who woke up like an alarm clock every morning to whip up breakfast for the family. After waking her husband and sending the kids off to school, she dashed off to the factory. She put on her fanciest dress as if she were walking the red carpet, heading to corporate headquarters. Before the meeting, the union rep whispered to Rita, "Don't speak up. I'm the star of this show." But as soon as the meeting started, Rita realized the company wasn't even remotely interested in the women's cries for help. The union rep flipped, saying women were just hysterical and needed scaring. At that moment, the kind workshop manager stepped up, only to be ridiculed by the union rep. At this juncture, Rita had reached her breaking point and could tolerate no more. She took out several pieces of cloth and, without hesitation, threw them down in front of the higher-ups, asking them directly, "Do you truly understand what can be done with these? Months ago, we protested, and you just shrugged it off, thinking we would vanish like a bad dream. I'm telling you now, we're not going down without a fight." With that, Rita stood tall and walked out. Back at the factory, Rita immediately briefed the other women about the meeting, and everyone geared up for action. Under Rita's leadership, the crowd was pumped and ready. The revolution's trumpet was already sounding. They ditched their usual calm and sprang into action, sealing off the factory building. Everyone raised their signs and chanted loudly, supporting the women in getting the respect they deserve. Rows of women with banners lined the streets, a sight to behold, bold and bright, unstoppable. They demonstrated through actions that they weren't joking, they meant business. This rally quickly caught the media's attention, and Rita became an overnight hero. She felt she had done something super meaningful, defending women's rights, but trouble quietly crept in. The next day, as soon as Rita arrived at the factory, she received a warning letter from HQ, feeling like it was from outer space. Yesterday's protest didn't bring any real change. Instead, it made them a big hassle for the company. Rita was furious. Feeling duped, she immediately rallied everyone to keep protesting, vowing to demand equal pay. Her fiery speech made her look like a fearless orator tackling challenges head-on. Everyone thought Rita's words were pure fantasy, hard to believe. In the face of the doubtful glances directed at her, Rita stood her ground unwaveringly and firmly replied, "Who dares to say that what I have said is incorrect?" Her words struck a chord with the women present. Everyone raised their hands in support. The plan was quickly approved, with all the women deciding to unite for pay equality. But the news quickly reached the higher-ups in the company, and they were in disbelief. After some investigation, they found the only ally for the women was the workshop manager, who was called to the office and fiercely reprimanded. "Welcome to the man's world," the leaders echoed the old clear over and over. This wasn't just history, it was a fixed routine, a pattern that was hard to break. Little did they know, the power of women's unity was rising, breaking through the limits of silence. Even though the higher-ups tried to obstruct them, they couldn't shake the manager's stance. The women's rebellion was in full swing. Under Rita's lead, women toured nationwide, spreading support to more. They even walked into Congress, gaining numerous women's group support and stirring strong reactions. Consequently, Rita became a heroine of her time. However, from this moment on, troubles began to silently follow Rita. Rita, who looked glamorous on the surface, had a house in chaos, too busy to take care of the kids. Her husband was utterly clueless about housework. Making breakfast for the kids was a disaster. Piles of clothes were everywhere, turning the house into a storage unit. The kids started to resent their mother. Their daughter's messy hair became fodder for classmates' jokes. In her husband's and daughter's eyes, Rita seemed bewitched, lost in her own world, completely ignoring home life. The women's strike caused severe shortages in stores. Production lines came to a halt, and lost orders piled up. The factory was compelled to halt operations entirely, with all male employees being forced to remain at home without exception, and Rita, serving as the representative figure of the protest, unfortunately became a target of criticism. Walking down the street, strangers would point and stare, as if she had become the public enemy. Meanwhile, Rita returned home in despair, only to find her husband selling off the furniture. It turned out, with the factory shut down, they had lost their income, and he was furious, leading to a big argument with this protest had already cost Ford millions in losses. The company's higher-ups finally recognized the seriousness of the situation and could no longer ignore it. However, their attention was just about finding ways to undermine and smear Rita. The counterattack had begun. If you like this story, don't forget to like and subscribe, so you won't miss out on more amazing content.